Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video I'm going to be taking you through how you can min-max your harvest farming and take it to the next level. So harvest is an extremely rare league mechanic. It only spawns 5% of the time in maps, making it a 1 in 20. So out of 100 maps you'd only get 5 harvests. However, when you encounter it, you get an absolute ton of crafts to play with, and if you're a really good crafter, you can make a ton of money. Even if you're not a good crafter, you can save the augments or the room of ads and sell them on the Forbidden Trove Discord server for multiple exalts or chaos orbs. So it's super duper good, and basically harvest is one of, if not the most rewarding league mechanic in the game in terms of real returns. So super duper good there. In terms of where you can encounter it and what people are currently doing, they're opting to run Harvest Atlas Ascendancies. And this is a fantastic solution to the low occurrence rate. So in Hayward Hamlet and in Lex Proxima, you're going to be able to increase the amount of harvest that you get. So you can see here the Grove's Call. This gives you 5% chance to get a harvest on top of your existing 5%, taking you to a 1 in 10 chance in maps to get a harvest, which is not too bad, but 10 maps is a lot. You know, if you're taking 3 or 4 minutes per map, that's a long time per harvest, and you're only going to get a few per play session, which is absolutely not what we're looking for here. So over in Lex Proxima though, you can get 6% using the 2% nodes, which is not bad, but it's absolutely not as good as what we're going to be getting to here in a second. So we all want more harvest. How can we get it? Well, the answer is in fact Zana. So Zana is a master, which is in your hideout. You get master missions for her, and her master missions are all about doing random maps. When you get into a map, you can talk to Zana and she'll give you a bunch of different map options to choose from, each of which has an objective on it. These objectives are based on past league mechanics, and one of those league mechanics is of course harvest here. So you can do Zana and get a shot at having a harvest on one of the missions. So traditionally, Zana only offers you about 5 or 6 maps. You know, she can offer you a few more or a few less than that. So the chance of getting harvest is fairly slim, but there are ways to take this to the next level. So you can see here I have it complete the harvest. This is going to be able to allow me to go in, you know, it's a free map. You just go in, you get the harvest, you come out, you know, you get some crafts, you know, you go to town, and it's going to be super duper good. Now, how can you get a higher chance of getting this? Because, you know, there's so many leagues, there's so many different missions. This can be diluted with, you know, guardian maps, like unique maps, all sorts of things can appear in here. How can you get a higher chance at harvest? Well, there is plenty of things we can do here. So right now I'm taking the Uncharted Realm Ascendancy called Paths Not Taken. This essentially doubles all options in Zana. So it goes from, you know, like 5 or 6 all the way up to, you know, 10 or 12, which is what you're seeing here. We have access to 11 choices here instead of probably what I would get, which would be about 5 or 6. So you absolutely need to be taking this ascendancy if you want to be farming harvest, and Zana is going to be a key to getting a lot more of them. So super duper good. But it doesn't stop there. So that's still not a very good shot at getting harvest. How can we really juice this up to the next level? Well, we can use titanium watchstones. So titanium watchstones are a new watchstone item added. You can acquire them from doing Maven invitations, and they're absolutely ridiculous for farming harvest. So if you're farming harvest, you're going to want to go with one of these 2 mods. Zana missions and areas have an additional 1 map or 2 maps. So if you can get the 2 maps, you're absolutely crazy. You're going to be farming so many harvest missions, it's going to be ridiculous. It's very, very rare though. Absolutely, it's got a very low weighting, and rolling this is going to be a very long-term goal. But if you can get it, you're going to be an absolute harvest farming beast, and I'll explain why in a second. Let's just talk about the one additional option though, because that's a lot more obtainable. So if you get one additional harvest one additional Zana option, you'll have an additional 4 maps in here to choose from. So that's already looking a lot better, isn't it? So we have a lot higher chance of getting harvest per kind of mission there. That's already 50% better chance of getting it. So that's really, really good. But what makes it even more insane is that this is actually doubled by Paths Not Taken. So you get +4, and then you actually effectively get +8, which almost doubles our chance of getting a harvest now just from that one set of titanium watchstones alone. Absolutely insane. And we already had doubled our chances before with the talent. So super duper good. You're going to get a ton more chance of getting harvest from Zana. Now, let's say that we got the +2. Well, that would give us another 8 options, totaling 16 in the end from our good friend Zana because of Path Not Taken, meaning you're going to get an absolute ton. You're going to get a massive chunk of maps to choose from, and you're pretty much definitely going to get harvest almost every map, I would imagine, once you get those super duper rare titanium watchstones, and you're going to be juicing up the harvest crafts for the server like nobody's business. Now, we know how to get tons of crafts now. We know how to abuse harvest with Zana. How do we get the Zana missions? Well, there's absolutely a ton of different ways you can do it. So one way is to roll Awakened Sextants. I believe it also might appear on Prime Sextants, but I don't actually remember. But you can get a total of 3 charges of Zana, so 3 missions, just by using Sextants. If you spec into Enduring Influence, that becomes 4, which is super duper cool. And you can actually use a little bit of a cool mechanic. If you're using a Titanium Watchstone and you roll the Zana modifier, you can actually continue to roll it using Imprints with Beasts, using Crikey Chimerals, but that's a little bit of a trick. If you know what I'm talking about, and you're a smart cookie, you can probably do that with the new elevated sextants, but that's a discussion for another day. So that's going to be that strategy. With sextants, you can definitely use the sextants to get her. How else can you get her? Well, you can just run maps, and you can acquire Zana missions through that and use them on the map device to force her into the map. So you can actually increase your odds of getting this by using Close Allies, which gives you a 10% chance to get another mission, which is really good. And you can also get an additional 5% chance for it to give you a Zana mission using Master of the Atlas, which you should be taking already because of Paths Not Taken. So super duper good. So you have a pretty good chance of getting Zana missions just from running maps, and that's going to do you really, really well. Now, there's also a really crazy option that you can also take as well, and that involves Harvest itself. So when you're doing your Harvest, you can actually kind of pseudo-sustain Zana missions, because there is in fact a craft on Harvest plots which says you gain master missions, and one of those is Zana. So one of the Harvest crafts is in fact going to give you 3 Zana missions for sacrificing 1 map. Very, very good. And you can almost sustain your Zana missions, assuming you have those really, really powerful watchstones indefinitely and keep running Harvest on every single map you do. So let's sum it all up. Let's talk about the strategy. You're going to get a ton of Zana missions. You're going to try and start off with about 10 to make sure you get one. You're going to get some Titanium watchstones with at least 1 Zana plus kind of slot. And you're going to spec into Path Not Taken, and you're going to start running maps in either Lex Proxima or Haywork Hamlet. In terms of layouts that are the best, well, in my opinion, Atoll in Lex Proxima is the best. I'm sorry, in Haywork Hamlet is the best. It's nice and short. You can get to it quickly, and you can actually slay the boss very quickly as well, meaning you'll start to kind of sustain a little bit more master missions that way as well. Over in Lex Proxima, you're going to want to take Park. Park is a fantastic map for running Harvest as well. And Zana missions, you can find Zana really quickly, and you can kill the boss again very, very fast as well. Both of these are fairly available in bulk because of the crazy map sustain this league, so you should be able to buy some fairly easily. So that's going to be my tips for that. Make sure you, of course, spec into Harvest on the Atlas Ascendancy. That's going to give you a ton more Harvest juice as well. And that is going to be my strategy for farming Harvest crafts. Once you get those watchstones pumping, once you get a big pool of Zana missions, you can also use the Prophecy, by the way, you're going to be absolutely loaded with crafts. Hope you guys have enjoyed this quick tip video on how to increase your Harvest crafts, and I'll see you guys in the next one or over on the stream. Cheers.